Okay, for exercise 9, we're going to be building a ramp and animating a ball rolling back and forth on it and then coming to a stop. So to do that, we're going to go to Composition, New Composition. We're going to make it 5 seconds long, 24 frames per second, 1920 by 1080. We're going to name this Exercise 9. I'm going to hit OK. Now you could create a shape layer and use the pen tool to draw the ramp. Here's another option, introducing a new type of layer that we haven't really worked with yet. And this will allow us to create a ramp that is a little bit more even. Like we can use a rectangle and then we can use a circle and we can cut the circle from the rectangle. So we're going to do that. And we can do that by going to Layer, New, Solid. And then we can choose the color that we want it to be. And I'm just going to make it, let's try blue. And 1920 by 1080, that's fine for now. We are going to make it smaller. Make comp size, that's fine. That's the 1920 by 1080. I'm going to hit OK. It fills it in. And then I can shrink the size or change the size of it. Another option too is that I could get a rectangle tool, and with this solid layer selected, left mouse down and drag, and what that does is it creates what's called a mask. So now any part that's outside of that masked area is going to be gone. And what I'm going to do on top of that is, with it still selected, I'm going to left mouse down on the primitives, go to Ellipse tool, and then I'm going to left mouse down and drag while holding the shift key. I'm going to make a circle. That is not much of a ramp though, I need to adjust it. That's okay, I'm going to let go of it. And under Mask 2, which is the circle I made, I'm going to select the mask path. And when you click on the mask path, it selects all of the anchor points that make this path. So I'm just grabbing one of them, because once it's all selected, then I only need to select one, left mouse down and drag, and it will move all of them. And now, under the solid layer, I have Mask 1, which is the rectangle, and Mask 2, which is the circle. And to the right of them, it says Add. I'm going to go to the one next to Mask 2, the circle, and change Add to Subtract. And now, I have a ramp. And I'm going to click on Medium Solid 1, hit the Return key, and rename this ramp. And then I'm going to close masks, and I'm going to click on the little lock to the left of the title ramp, and that makes it no longer selectable or movable. I can always unlock it and make changes to it, but I don't want to do that right now. Instead, I'm going to create a shape layer, new shape layer, and I'm going to use a ball. I'm going to change the ball color. It's maybe a light color. Left mouse down and drag. There we go. And I'm going to put the anchor point, let me click off and click back on, and let's try it at the bottom. There we go. And then I'm going to start the ball right in the center, or try to get it right in the center. And let's see where that's at. Okay, that's about the center. And I'm going to name this layer Ball by clicking on Shape Layer 1, hit the Return key on the keyboard, and type in Ball. And then I'm going to wait till about 6 frames to start animating. I'm going to close Contents and open the Transform. Click on the key on the stopwatch, putting a key under the Position attribute at 6 frames in. Then I'm going to have it move a little bit to the left. Then shoot over. This way. As you can tell from the path, it's going to float over. I'm going to need to change that. Then I'm going to have it come back down. And come up this side. Now, depending on your settings, your motion graph might start overlapping. If you want to change your preferences, you can go to After Effects Preferences, Display. And right now I have it set to no more than 4 keyframes, and that makes it a little easier to see just the ones that I'm working with and not all the ones I make at all. But if you want to see all of them, you can click on All Keyframes. And that can be great because that'll let you see the whole path. But since it's going to have overlapping in the path, it might get confusing to work with. So if it is confusing to work with, you can lower it to maybe 2 or 4 keyframes. So I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to go have it shoot to the other side. Again, I am going to need to fix this path because right now it's just bouncing in straight lines. Okay, here, 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 and actually I'm going to need to do it in between. Let's put an in between down here. Here. Okay, so it hits this path, and then we're going to move it this way to the bottom. And not as high. This way. Not as high. Here. Here. And bring it back. Bring it up a little more. Down. Not much change. A little less. Back to the middle. A little less. Less. A little less. And then probably land back in the starting position. Okay. Let's overshoot this a little more. Shoot, and then settle. Okay, so now let's adjust our path, because right now the ball is flying. And we can grab the convert vertex. It's here. And then this frame, bring it down. We want the ball to stay on the ramp. There we go. Now, sometimes when you, like I just used the convert vertex tool to move this point. If I go to this next point and start trying to adjust it, see how it reconnects? It kind of reestablishes the tangent. That is something that can happen. So if you are working on both handles on the same keyframe at the same time, then once you break it once on this key, then you'll want to switch to the selection tool and adjust. Otherwise, it's going to keep breaking, re-breaking, or breaking, fixing, restoring the tangent. And that can be really frustrating if that's not what you want. Let's go here, break the tangent. There we go. And then take this one and bring it down. Take this one and bring it down. And then now it's going to fly in the air. We don't want that. Okay. So I want to, let's try breaking this tangent, bringing it down. This tangent, bring it down. Okay, comes up, and then it flies in the air. So let's take this one, move it back, pull it down, so it stays on the ramp. Swing to the middle, goes in the air again. Okay. Oops. Undo. Pull this one down. Oops. pull this one down. And I broke it again just by letting go with the convert vertex and then clicking on it again. Okay, swings down, rolls, comes back up. And moving this one down. Okay, and it comes back. Yep. This one you can hardly see, but break this tangent, bring it down. Is it floating? That ball is floating, isn't it? It is. There it is, floating in the air. Let's bring this down. There we go. That one's also floating. Let's move it down a little. So that's something we're going to have to be careful of, is the ball floating or pushing through, notably through the ramp. If it's got a little bit of overlap, that's fine, but if it's notably, let's bring that down. Bring that key down as well. Okay, bring this one down. Hits, comes back. That down. It's a little hard to see now because all these keyframes are nearly on top of each other. Now it's floating. Let's bring it very close. Zoom in tightly. Let's see, is it on the ground? No, it's not on the ground. We're not on the ramp. Bring it down. Bring it down. Okay. This can probably also go down. Back. Okay, now this one's flying. Let's bring this down. This one's going through the ramp. Not too notably, but that's just an issue of the path. So we can adjust the, oops. Not that one. There we go, that path. There we go. And now it's floating up above, so we just need to adjust the handles for that. Place it down. Okay. Okay. Okay, might need to spend a little more time slowing that to a stop. Let's see what it looks like. It's going to definitely need some easing. Okay. Here for a moment. Let's grab all of these. Well, this one would be an ease out. Easy ease out. Easy ease for the rest of these. And easy ease it. Actually, the middle swing here, this doesn't need an ease. Swing out, and here does not need an ease. Swing out, and then back, no ease, no ease, no ease. Okay, see how that looks. Okay, that looks a bit better. The ending gets a little fast. So let's adjust the composition settings, and let's make it 6 seconds instead. And lengthen, unlock, and then lengthen. Okay, so it swings. Let's space this out a little further. Take these, space them out further, further. Okay, and let's see how that looks. Okay. And swing to the left. Let's go past it a little bit. And then return. Let's turn this one into an easy ease. And this one into an easy ease. Okay. Okay, there's a wobble. Okay, turn this. Get rid of the ease for that. Okay, and then it kind of moves up and down a little. Probably because I just nudged it with the arrow keys. There it goes. Moves up. And let's increase the length to 7 frames. Expand, expand, and let's give these a little more time. And let's give these more time. Okay, don't need this. Let's get rid of this one. Copy. Okay. Oh. Pulls this upwards at the end. Nudge, nudge. Okay, and let's look at the handles. Okay. Let's look at large. And when it swings back and forth, back, back, back. Okay. This one goes a little too far. Right to left, right to left. Okay. Yeah, it's a little better. Okay, when it first swings, let's have this go a little higher. Gives it a little more energy. Oh. Oh. Okay. And then it swings up the second time. Doesn't maybe have to go as far as it does. There we go. Does it float? It is floating. Adjust the handle. There we go. That is floating. Bring this one down. Okay. So save it, and then we can try to play around with it with the graph. We do have to be a little careful though, because the X and the Y are working together. And watch this. You have to be careful because as we edit the Y, or the X, it is manipulating it is affecting the Y as well. So we have to be a little careful with the graph with this. So let's try it. So the easing helped a lot. When we did it before easing, it caused some trouble. Let's save, and then let's try it, but we got to be really cautious with it. So if we separate it, let's see how that looks. That may not, yeah, that does change the handles in there. So let's see, is it necessary? May not even need the graph for this one. Okay, yeah, let's stop it at this point. With the easy easing, it looks pretty good as is, and to break the tangents and fix the position, we would have to take into account the X position and the Y position at the same time, and it's possible, but it would take a while. And it's not necessarily possibly going to be worth its while in this case. It looks pretty good as is, so we'll leave it at that. This key could maybe move over. Let's see. So we can use it for small edits if needed. Okay. Otherwise, I think we're pretty good. This one maybe a little less. So we can still make small adjustments in here. Okay. Here. 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 Let's see how that looks. Oh, we got a little jolt at the end. Okay. Wobble. Okay. Okay, so it shakes, goes a little further. Okay. $964.75. 970. 71.64. Let's try 9.67. Okay. See how that looks? Okay. And we can get off of it so we can see the ball without seeing the motion, and just scrub it slowly and see, does it stay on the ramp, which here it does not. There we go. Okay, let's click off. And let's make the ramp locked. And what I'm doing is just scrubbing through and just making sure the ball doesn't float. Let's see, is it off the ground here? Almost. Okay, it's on to the edge. Okay, and now it's floating. Down. Up. Down. Nudge. Okay, here it's floating. Also going a little too low. Okay. And is it floating here? Yes, it is. Now, is it floating? Yeah, a little bit. And the two handles are practically sitting on each other, so... Okay. It keeps wanting to grab the handle that's above this one. Let's move this down for a moment, and then move this one. Now bring it back up. Click off. Up. Okay, this is a little... Let's nudge that. Oops. If you're going to nudge it, though, you got to nudge it on the key. So I didn't nudge it on the key, so it created another key. Okay, so it goes down, and then it goes up a little bit. You look at where the ball overlaps. So let's see what this handle looks like. And let's pull this handle in. Let's see how that looks with the ball. Okay, it's a little better. We're floating again. Nudge, nudge, nudge. This handle is not doing anything affecting that point. Okay, let's try pulling handles out of this one. Okay, bring this down. Take this one. Move this one over. Okay. Let's click off and see. Okay, so this one's floating. Bring it back down. And it is overlapping a little bit more here. It may not be too noticeable viewed from far away, but let's bring it up a little bit. Floating above is a little bit more easily noticeable, but if it swings too far below as well, that can still not work right. I want to try to keep it. We got a little bit of margin error, but not huge. Okay. And then we've got this weird wobble here. Okay, so it moves to the right, to the left. Let's maybe get rid of this key. So it moves to the right. Nope. And it goes up a little bit, so let's move this down. Right. Okay, and that is it. That is exercise 9, creating a ball and rolling on a ramp.